All right, I wanted to jump on here and talk about the ESPN MLB breakup. I want to start with ESPN, then I'm going to jump into MLB. I kind of like it for the MLB. I'm going to get into why, but nonetheless, ESPN's a sinking ship, right? Because they decided to go whack for 10 years and talk through agendas instead of just covering sports. They probably had sports fans don't like ESPN, and that's just the truth. Also, ESPN is just a middleman. In today's world, in the marketing TV world, being a middleman is not the spot to be in, because you have limited options now because your revenue is going way down. So they have to choose who they're going to be in bed with, and they chose the NBA, they chose the NHL, they chose the NFL, of course, and also college football, and that's all the room and the money that they have for. So who got kicked out? The MLB, because why? They view the MLB as a regional league. And so they also view the NHL that way, and that's why the NHL gets no love, and that's why the NHL lives on ESPN Plus. But that kind of works for the NHL, so I'll talk about that in another video. All right, so if you're at MLB, I think it's fine, no problem, and you can't be mad about ESPN not covering MLB topics on a talk show. I run a media company. This is Beers by the Ivy. I can tell you right now that football dominates. Even with my little world of making views, if I make a college football video, it's gonna get decent views. If I make any other video, it doesn't get views. If I make NFL content, it's gonna get views. If I make any other type of video, it's not gonna get views. I had my biggest run, guess when? College football playoffs. That's when I was getting thousands of views per video. Nowadays, man, dude, I'm just lucky to get a couple hundred because there's no football on. People love football. The topic of America is the sport of football. ESPN is going to cover that. And if you go to Fox News or if you go to Fox Sports, you think Colin Cowherd's going to talk about the MLB? You think Nick Wright's going to talk about the MLB? No, you're going to have some off-hour show that covers the MLB on a daily basis. Because you're not going to get that with any of the lead shows. The shows that actually get views, Stephen A's show, Colin Cowherd, Nick Wright, the top sports shows currently on TV do not cover sports or cover the MLB because you're not going to get views. And the biggest problem the MLB has is the fact that it's regional. But here's the truth. As a diehard Cubs fan, I just want to see the Cubs. I don't have any aspiration to see what the Padres are doing. That's why I don't watch Sunday Night Baseball. I love seeing my team's broadcast, my team's people, my team's field person interviewing, the players. Everyone knows everyone. It's that to me is my liking when it comes to viewership. And I think that's okay. And I think the MLB, instead of going to Fox, instead of going to Apple, instead of going to some Roku streaming service or doing something, oh, we're not as good as, we can't be on these top ones, we're going to go second level. They just need to get smarter and understand we're about to go into a new landscape of media, and they need to invent it or come up with a better system to live in the future right now. They need to go to the future right now because we know, in my opinion, ESPN is going to die, and I feel like all these leagues will eventually have some type of their own, I'm not going to say TV network, but their own streaming system, and MLB needs to come up with that system, right? And number one thing we need to do if you're an MLB, top exec, is figure out how can we make baseball games the easiest thing to watch on the entire internet. Right? There's no, we got to get rid of blackouts. We have to make it the most, friendly customer experience on planet Earth. And guess what? We should probably come up with something like Red Zone that jumps into all the games where people can understand who people are. I don't know anyone on the Padres. I probably do, but you get my point. I don't know anyone on the Angels but Mike Trout. But if there was a TV network that was just constant action, then I would probably know these people. As a kid, I used to know the entire NHL because I loved playing shell and I grew up playing hockey because I used to play the video game. So if I had MLB The Show, I'd probably know everyone. But as just a guy who just loves the Cubs and loves Wrigley Field, I don't care about any of those other teams. I'm not going to sit through a game. Are you kidding me? But if there's a viewership of action, like some type of channel, that's something that is in the future, right? I would assume baseball's numbers in terms of their social is pretty good because people like watching action, people like watching home runs. So they got to come up with some type of streaming system that takes the regional like love affair, enhances that, and then triples down on accessibility and action for their viewers. They got to get rid of blackouts. They got to get rid of like copyright infringement stuff where it's like you're so locked on like you can't use MLB media if you're like a person like me. Like, come on, dude. Like, we got to spread the wealth and grow the game that way. So I think if MLB does that or has this mindset of future, then this is the greatest freedom that they're ever going to have. But if they just go sign like another Sunday Night Baseball deal and don't actually think critically about building an intelligent system, we talk so much about on this channel, the smartest people on planet Earth build systems. That's what intelligence is. It's building systems. It's not thinking. It's understanding processes and solutioning and building a system that is fluid and works. That is truly intelligent. So this is MLB's shot, because you're right. Viewership on Sunday Night Baseball per last year went up 6%. Everything's worked, right? The pitch clocks worked. The bigger bases have worked. Everything's worked. You finally get a ball I think people like we've made some progress. You kind of have evolved the game a little bit. You're thinking about the robot ump. Okay, that's great. But now it's how do we get the game marketed? Another thing you got to start doing is you got to somehow get stars, right? And there's a couple people, but if you just talk to someone on the street, name 10 baseball players, they're probably going to have a hard time doing that. So how do you get stars? You got to do TV shows. You got to do marketing. Another thing, too, that I'll say is I think the future of media is not going to be like the TV shows. It's going to be people, I'm going to say people like me, but people who have a podcast with actual viewerships above me for sure. Those are the people. Like the Pat McAfee show. Pardon my take. These are the people you need talking about baseball, not TV programs, because everyone these days wants media when they want it, and they don't want to have to be watching a TV show. People like watching stuff on the phone. Nobody likes looking at a TV. People want to be able to just have flexibility in their life. Flexibility. So those are the people that it's actually important if they're talking your sport. For the future, honestly, now until the end of time at this point. All right, I think I'm ranting, but that was what I wanted to say was, if you're an MLB fan, okay, who cares? ESPN doesn't have Sunday Night Baseball. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Time to get into the next age of baseball viewership, because they already have problems now, and here's an opportunity to try to fix them. So think big, think future, and do it that way. I would honestly go hire some consultants that are understanding the future of how social media and all this stuff is going to evolve, build a system with those people, give it a shot. If it fails, good, then sign a bigger deal with Fox. Go from there.